couple of weeks.
That's awesome.
Got my first payment from.
That's awesome. Good for you.
MDT shares. So
how did that feel?
It feels good. Feels relieving because I was paying a lot of CRA debt. So
nasty. Those guys are ruthless too.
Yeah. So when
they don't care if you feed your family, man.
No,
they will just take the money. They do not care.
They do not. So they in 2020 or 2021, it was one of my best years at MDT. So I would get big checks, and they asked me, "Do you want to get taxes taken off or not?" I'm like, "No, I don't want taxes taken off. I can invest it myself, and I can make more money."
Believe this.
And then it was a bad decision. And then at the end of the year, it'd be like, "Oh, a whole bunch of taxes." I'm like, "Oh, they're only charging me 6%." I was just like, it's basically a cheap loan.
Oh no.
Anyways, so I've since that.
Who do you attribute that thinking to? Like that thought of like, who were you asking anybody advice? Like, hey, should I pay off the CRA?
No, I was mostly alone. Mostly alone most of my life. So you just have to figure.
You just figure it out.
Yeah,
the hard way, obviously.
Yeah, always. Usually the hard way. Yeah, you just kind of go whatever, and
that's fascinating. That's something that most people don't realize that they can change in their life.
What?
Just how much hardship can be avoided by asking other people. I see that even in our own little businesses where I'm like, guys, we don't need to struggle with this, man. Somebody's gone before us in this path.
That's right.
And most people are pretty open to kind of giving pointers or.
Well, it goes against their pride, right? Asking.
You
for
think
help.
that's what it is?
Yeah, I think it's
almost just lack of understanding of how knowledgeable other people are.
That's true too. But I think for you, if you are calling someone and saying, "Hey, I'm not sure what to do next here in my hay business,"
you'd have to be pretty humble to do that.
I think so.
Yeah. My issue always is I know exactly what to do, and I struggle taking the hard step. I know how. I'm working on it. Though. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
It's interesting, even in farming. Like when you.
Sorry, I want to back up. What do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean? You know what to do, but
I typically know the decision.
Okay.
As a not always, but for example, in the hay business, I know exactly what my step should be. One of them.
Okay. Yeah.
And to do it is difficult. It's out of my comfort zone a bit.
Because
I don't like change. I think just this idea of spending more. As a general rule, I've been hesitant to spend money where I should spend money.
Is that like
in every business?
Like in a way, that's wisdom, though, right? Like you're slow to make a decision. Have you always been that way? Has that grown more?
No, of course I'm very impulsive. And I'll erratically drop money on ridiculous things like a mechanical bull. So it's not that I'm that wise. It's more just in the areas of.
I get it.
Like
I kind of the same way.
I'll give you an example. Our shop bought a wheel alignment machine. And it was expensive. I think $25,000. Now we do wheel alignments at Tech Alliance and Rosedale. But like in the past, I wouldn't have done that. I'd have been like, oh, how long is it going to take to pay it back? That's just a big purchase. We're already doing okay now. Where it's like, no, the shop, it's doing really well. But it's like, hey, there's a lot of opportunity and we already do a lot of front end work. It makes sense to offer that rather than send them somewhere else. They might not go get it if it's somewhere else and it probably should be done. All these pieces, right? Now it's just a great service that we offer at a reasonable competitive rate. Yeah. But it's more in the like, even on the dairy side and like farming, you see it with farmers where farmers are very loyal people and they deal typically with what they deal with, and they'll be building, let's say, a brand new barn. And there could be a great, like, for example, a basic thing, a lot of farmers would agree with me. You should have a deep bedded sand stalls in a barn. You have a way better barn. The cow comfort is paramount and cows are most comfortable in that.
And more production too, right?
Oh, way more. And the more cows produce, I want to say, almost 5 or 10 times, I can't remember the number, but 5 times as much milk when they're laying down as when they're standing up. So you want your cows laying down in your barn. Okay. When they're not eating, they should be laying down or getting milked, right? That's just math. And I can't remember the percentage or the number, but so guys will build a new barn and they'll go to a sales, they'll have their favorite salesperson who's going to help them design the barn. Well, if that sales guy sells rubber mats for a stall, well, now they're putting rubber mats, he's going to sell them on how it's going to save him on bedding and, the sand's going to wear out his equipment. So don't go to sand or, there's always you can always justify whatever bad decision you're going to make in life. We know that, right? We've justified a lot of them. And so it's just fascinating how if you just went open slate and said, you came to me and said, hey, Gary, can you just tell me who the best 5 farms you know are? Yeah. And I tell you them. And the best 5 farms, ironically, would all have deep bedded sand barns. And they would all sell me cows rather than buy cows. And it's just all these. Yeah. Of course, I'm neutral because, I don't even have a deep bedded sand barn, but.
Ignorance? To just not knowing?
It is, but I think it's the idea of just getting tunnel vision. I don't know if it's tunnel vision or what it would be, but it's just the idea of trusting one person. Oh, yeah. And also we have a bias in life once we've made a decision. It's like the sunk cost fallacy where we have to carry on with that, where we can't renege. And I think that's what's really cool when you can, and I think I'm learning to do it, probably not enough, but there's probably other people I know that do it really well where it's like, hey, you can go quite a ways down the garden path. And if something's not working out, just call it, speak it publicly.
Yeah.
We're torching this. We're right. Like,
yeah, it's okay to stop things.
What's that?
It's okay to stop
It's okay to stop things and say that you're wrong. And hey, and there's no shame in that. And I think part of that ties into the idea of even, hey, we can never do any wrong.
Yeah.
And everybody's judging.
Or you don't want conflict.
Or you don't want conflict. And there's usually some mess that comes with admitting, you're totally right.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. School shooting. That's pretty wild.
In the show notes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, putting the production value, getting more guests on, and me being able to spend more time and energy towards it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can click up here and it'll take you to a support page. But you can also subscribe to the podcast by clicking over here and doing that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.